Hey, welcome back to the Positive Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host, Jeremy Todd, coming to you live from the world headquarters here in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana, where it's cloudy for 60 to 90 days straight. And boy, oh boy, it's brutal. But hey, that's okay because this is the Positive Side Podcast. And before I bring my guests in today, I just want to tell everybody I decided this. I got COVID last week. And I got COVID I started seeing symptoms last Wednesday. I took ivermectin Wednesday night. And I know everybody's just, oh my God, why'd you take ivermectin? That's crazy. It's a horse dewormer. I mean, I've heard it all. But believe me when I say this, I took that, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C, no other prescription, no other medicine. But within 2 days, I felt like $1,000,000. And today I'm on 100%. And again, I say this with all honesty. I know there's different variations and different severities of it. But what I did was non-traditional, but man, oh man, I feel great. But I had this epiphany with this show. And I don't know why, but I decided that I am not going to have any more guests on this show, that I am not 100%, 150% one on this show. I canceled out all my guests. I canceled every single one of them I was booked out till April. I think April. I told my assistant, Kalua, I love her to death. I said, Kalua, cancel everybody. I'm done. I'm done having people on my show. And again, this sounds a little selfish, having a one-way street. Like what's in it for me was nothing. What's in it for them is everything. And I'm just, it sounds a little selfish, but it's not. It's not. It's being unselfish. Because the people I want on my show are people that want to be on my show, not just clicking boxes, not just saying, hey, I need to be on as many podcasts as I can. No disrespect to all the people. Okay, whatever. But I canceled literally every single person, except my guest today, which we'll explain why. But I want more of my friends on the show. I want more big conversations. I want Adam Walton on the show. I want Donnie Tuttle's been on the show a million times. I want, I want these deep conversations that I don't have to work for, or you have better make a huge impact on me because it's just not worth it. This show should not be work. And it's turned into work when I have people that I don't know, and I don't want that anymore. I'm done. So I've canceled every single guest. Long story short, and I'll talk about this more on my solo episode coming up soon. Cancel everybody. They're out. Gone. Kick them in the butt. See ya. They don't even know it because chances are they don't even listen to the show anyway, so it doesn't really matter anyways, but they're out. That being said, my guest today, Sam Mitchell's in the house. Sam has autism. Sam, welcome to the show, buddy. Get in here.
All right, I'm in here, man. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be in. I understand, so don't worry. But I definitely hope I frustrate you enough for the reason I'll be on here, I guess. I hope it'll be a good reason that you bypassed it.
Well, bro, you made the pass. You made the pass to get on the show because it's important to me. You're extremely important to me. Your mission, what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. People you've had on your show is impressive to me. And again, I'm so excited to have you on the show. Again, Sam Mitchell's in the house. Sam reached out to me on Facebook and said, hey, man, I just want to get on your show. And it was pure. And this is what I respect about you. It was pure. It was genuinely, hey, I want to get on your show to talk about autism, talk about what I struggle with, talk about what I'm trying to do and the impact I'm trying to make within society. So long story short, Sam Mitchell, welcome to the show.
Of course. Thank you again. I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me bypass it.
Well, you made the pass, my friend. And again, I'm so proud of everything you did. And I told you before we started the show, I just want to ask basic questions because I don't know. And I think this is part of this show that, the authenticity, the realism. I'm just trying to shoot you straight, bro. But tell me a little bit about autism and your day-to-day stuff. And how did you know that you were diagnosed with, or how do you deal with being diagnosed with autism?
Well, I was diagnosed when I was 4, so I didn't know really until then. And until then, my life was very, very confusing. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand why are people not acting like me? Why are these people not liking these stuff? Why are these people not talking about the same stuff every darn day? And when I was 6, I was read a book And then like finally made sense, like, oh, I have autism. This is why I'm the way I am. So that's what it is. But autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that society sees as wrong. Society sees as weird, discombobulated, even where they don't understand social cues. And they're partially right. I don't do body language. I don't play that game. I'm more of the word person. I'd rather you say it. I'd rather you say you suck than basically hide with your body, you suck. I mean, I'd rather that happen than make a whole show about it, obviously. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it just a neurodevelopmental conditional disorder? What that's society's perspective, but the way I see it is, I just think it's a different way of thinking.
Well, yeah. I mean, and again, I mean, me not knowing anything about it, I can. There's obviously different levels of autism. Explain a little bit about the different levels of autism, the different diagnoses with autism, because I have a buddy I work with. His son has severe autism. I mean, he you can have conversation. I've met him once, but I know there's different levels of autism. Explain a little bit about how that works and how those different levels or severities. I don't even know if that's the right word, man. I'm sorry. I'm just struggling with the words to even say, but if severity is the right word, talk a little bit about that as well.
Okay, well, first of all, you're fine with severity. I like that because it's keeping it real, and I agree. That's one of the things I like to do. So no worries about that. As far as the severity, there's low functioning, which means they're basically their body's growing, but their mind isn't. They're basically 20, but have the mind of a 3-year-old. So they're basically kind of 3 permanently. I know it sounds awful, but again, true.
Mm-hmm.
There's also middle functioning where they'll understand some stuff and they will understand some stuff. They'll understand, okay, they can do this, but then there's some stuff that they mentally cannot hop through. It's like you run into a steel plate. You can't go through it. However, there's high functioning autism where there's a higher chance of me going over the hoop, but it's going to take some climbs up the ladder. So I'm on the high functioning end, thankfully. Sometimes I work from in the middle, but I think I'm on the high functioning. I mean, I do struggle with certain stuff. I mean, I don't understand cooking really well. I mean, I had to have a checklist every day sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I used to, actually, not majorly now. I have what I call FIMS, foot and mouth syndrome. I'm too blunt sometimes and with no filter, like a little kid does sometimes. And I have real bad anxiety.
Well, like I said, I can't tell you how proud of you getting on the show because I think you're going to change lives by being on here, and I know all the things you're doing with your social media. Talk a little bit about what your goal is. Obviously, you've got you kill social media. You've been doing that for a while, and that's how you really found me. You've got Autism Sam Stories. Talk a little bit about the importance of that, because I'm going to tell everybody at the very end, and I'm going to ask you at the very end to make sure they connect with you. Talk a little bit about Sam Stories and why that's so important.
Well, first of all, Sam Stories, we couldn't think of a title because we wanted a Facebook page. We couldn't think of a title. So that was my first episode, Sam Stories. And I thought, you know what? That's a good title for a Facebook page too. But Sam Stories is just more than my stories. It's not me bragging saying, hey, hear me out. No, it's not that at all. It's really, hey, I have autism. Here are the things I've had to go through. These need to be acknowledged, and you need to hear these. You may not want to hear them, but you need to.
How does what would you say to a parent of an autistic son or daughter? Well, how do you tell them? Because I know, man, there's some tough days, for both people, not just the parent, but for the son or for the daughter or for the relative, the brother, sister, mother, cousin. There's all kinds of types of people with autism. But, in my situation, I think of the people that I know are parents of children with autism. What do you recommend? What do you tell parents? Like, what's that mindset that you would recommend them to have?
Okay, here's one. Don't treat it as a threat, but as a gift, because it may be a threat in some cases. I'm keeping it real as well. They may not be able to cook. They may not be able to drive. They may not be able to do certain life skills, but you don't know the other side. There's another side of the cord where there's other talents and other things that they can do. If we're not bedridden. I mean, we don't have to be on the bed sitting still sideways. There's things we can do that society may not appreciate, but it's something. An example is, and I'm not crappy when I tell you this or lying to you, I can memorize every WrestleMania main event from 1 to 37.
Get out of here.
I'm serious. I promise you.
This is gonna be so good now. Okay, well that's interesting. I'm 43 years old. When I go back to WrestleMania, I think of WrestleMania. This may not have been. I'm pretty sure it was WrestleMania when Hulk Hogan picked up Andre the Giant and
WrestleMania
slammed.
3, yeah, I've seen that.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
I
Like
mean, I'm not just new school. I'm old school too, buddy.
brother, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm an old school, I come from the Bam Bam Bigelow days. Man, even Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. There used to be a cartoon way
My
back in
favorite is Mick Foley, who I've got to interview as well. That's my all-time favorite idol. He's such an underdog, and because of the bumps he takes, I mean, people might consider him an idiot for it, but for me, I consider it respect because one, he doesn't have the body to do that, and he want to make a name out of himself. So how does he do it? He's going to take the craziest bumps alive, and he made something of himself through that pain. And because he took so much pain and he didn't have to because he wanted to, kind of, I can sort of respect it.
I forgot Mick Foley was on your show too. I mean, Mick Foley, when I was watching wrestling, he was towards the end of my true. I mean, I've always loved. I mean, that was back in the WWF days. I've always loved WWF wrestling. And that was still WWF days with Mick Foley. And I remember him, that he was like that mysterious guy, didn't really say a lot, came out of the woodwork. But dude, I loved Mick Foley. When was he on your show? So what'd you guys talk about?
Okay. Well, believe it or not, fun fact, his son is on the spectrum. So that's one reason why. But also he's my favorite, and we both are wrestling fans, so it kind of worked out. And I've actually got to meet him 4 times. I'm not bragging when I say this, it's true. I met him once through a toy store, through a meet and greet, and I thought that was it. Okay, yippee-ki-yay. Well, I was on another wrestling podcast, and they surprised me with him. I mean, I kind of smelt the rat. I didn't know for sure, but I got to meet him again through that podcast. I got to interview him through my podcast. And then there was he was coming to Bloomington, Indiana. He's actually from there, believe it or not. And he was at a comedy to when I went to go see him, and there were like little meets and greets. And the cool part was we were in the ice. He didn't recognize us at first. And then we wore our shirts that says Autism Rocks and Rolls. And he said, Autism Rocks and Rolls. I thought, wait a minute. And then he's like, he realized it was us. Like I told him I were going to be there, and we were, and I got to take a picture and talk to him again.
Dude, that is so cool. What a cool story. Again, I'm such a big old school wrestling fan.
Believe it or not, you think he was so like mean because of all the characters he played, the wacko characters, Mankind. You think he's a psychotic.
That's right. He was Mankind too. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think he was psychotic. Nope. Through experience and through stories, he's actually one of the most humble people in the wrestling world you'll ever meet.
Let me ask you this question. I asked you a little bit just a few minutes ago about, a parent's reaction and what parents think and what your advice would be towards parents. What would you tell somebody that has autism that may be, in that, and again, you would know way more than I would, but those people that are in that area where they just don't know what to do and how to get out, how to talk to people, how to relate. What are a couple of things that you can do to give someone with autism some advice and again, this sounds so like such bullshit, but like not to be successful in life, but what would you tell somebody with autism to how to get out of is getting out of their shell the right word? I mean, getting out, like making a difference. What would you tell somebody with autism to do?
Well, first of all, it kind of goes through the parents and then them. So that's going to kind of answer. So parents, one of the things that we have a tendency to do is we like to, what society calls obsess. Okay. And part of language too, but you need to stop that bullshit because honestly, it's not obsessing. You need to tap into it. If you tap into it, it's going to probably be a successful case. Case in point, my parents tapped into my media skills. Look where I'm at right now. If they like to cook and they're a big, like cooker or cook in the kitchen.
Sure.
Look where they might go. They don't like to make mistakes. They want to work. I mean, that's one thing that we have a struggle with is trying to get these people who have autism on jobs because they can't keep a job, and that needs to stop. They need to be more understanding and accepting of it. We're aware of it, and I'll give you that, but we're not accepting, because there are so many cases. I mean, I mentioned the cookie one earlier. What about they pay attention to detail? They don't miss a thing. There's a lot of jobs out there that include you need to pay attention to every detail. They like to solve mysteries and do detective work. Best detective I know right there.
That's a great point. And I think that's great advice too, because I think, it goes back to the parents. When you have, and again, I don't know, when you have autism, it's you probably early on you rely on your parents a lot, and I think that it goes into knowing your child, son or daughter, whoever that is, and like really leaning into what they love and what they are excited about. And I think that like your parents leaned into you with your social media and supporting that, and that's why I wanted to do it, and that's why you're here on my show. I just think that's so important to support that and get that message out, because you, my friend, are changing lives. While we had this conversation, there's going to be people who listen to the show, they're going to reach out to you and say, hey, my son or daughter has that autism, or hey, I have autism and I don't know what to do. I'm scared, or where do I go, or how do I get out of this? But you, my friend, are living that role model. So, you should be super proud of yourself too, because it's not easy. I know it's not easy for you to get on this show. I'm sure it wasn't just, hey, I'm super excited to get on the Positive Side podcast with Jeremy. You have no idea who I am. I'm sure that wasn't an easy thing to do, but you're doing it, my friend. I mean, you're out of there. You're fighting it. And you're doing it.
I mean, I'm also a big, not just autism, I'm a big disability and mental health advocate, because through my mental health, I haven't had like mental health issues, but I've had really that bad anxiety to the point where I have not gotten out of bed. I mean, I'm telling you straight up. And I don't think it's easy some days to get out of bed. Some days your body needs to, take that deep breath.
Totally.
So it's not easy to get out of bed every day. I mean, I know that it's a job in society. Society says, hey, get out of bed. It's not easy, buddy. It really isn't.
If it was that easy, we all do it, right? I mean, it's easy to
Yeah,
and the show. I mean, with the show, I've talked about with my struggles with depression and anxiety and things that I've struggled with. It isn't easy. We all have our struggles. We all have our, for lack of better terms, crosses to bear, and we're all dragging this stuff through it. But when I got guys like you that want to get on the show, and that's why I wasn't going to cancel on you. I had to get you on the show to talk about these things. I think it's super important. But part of being on the show, my friend, is also I'm going to ask you the 7 questions that I ask all my guests. They're John Maxwell. He wrote the book Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, and I'm going to go over these 7 questions with you. And I cannot wait to hear your answers. Question number 1 for Sam Mitchell is, Sam, what is the greatest lesson you've ever learned?
The life lesson that I've ever learned is honestly probably throughout this podcast is it's 2 words really. Be yourself. Maybe 3. Yeah, it's 2. Be yourself. Period. Regardless of what society thinks of you or what society where it wants to put you, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. So I encourage you to be yourself.
Dude, that's so, and it's funny that you say that, because if you rewind the beginning of this podcast, me like canceling all these people coming on the show, no disrespect to them, but I want to be myself. I don't want to be tied to these conversations that I'm not interested in. I want to be myself. That's absolutely perfect advice. Sam, question number 2 is, what are you learning now?
Probably the thing I'm learning honestly now is just to make it in life. I mean, adulthood, I knew kids are going to say, oh, when I grow up, I want to be. Yeah, I was like that too. But sometimes adulthood ain't easy, and if you make it, you gotta learn the basics like cooking, driving, cleaning, that stuff. I mean, I clean all right. I'm not Mr. Clean, but I definitely, and that's what I'm learning right now. And that answers your question.
Well, it answers it better than you think. That is, I mean, maybe one of the coolest things I've heard on the show is, I mean, you have to get through this. You can't give up. You've got to figure this out. You've got to do it. You have to make it. So whatever you're doing right now, if it's not working, you need to figure it out and start making it work. I mean, figure something out, make it work. Whatever the case is, just do it. So you, my friend, are exactly right. Question number 3 is, how has failure shaped your life?
Failure it makes you want to be a better person. You need to fail so you can overcome the hoop. I mean, if you overcome the hoop, there's nothing greater of accomplishment to feel.
I mean, Again, brother, yeah, I couldn't agree more. It just makes you stronger, right? I mean, it makes you figure out who you are, because I'm sure there's a lot of things that you've done in your past that probably didn't work out. That probably you were disappointed. That probably you had, tough days where like, gosh, I thought that was gonna work. This didn't work. This sucks. I mean, but it got you through those things to get to this thing that now that you're really, really good at. So failure just figures it out. I mean, that's just really what it's all about. So you're, again, exactly right, my friend. Question number 4 is, who do you know that I should know?
Well, who you should know that I should know is definitely some of the guests I've had. Mick Foley. I mean, I think personally, if you ask some of the guests I've had, and I'm not saying I'm obviously biased because I know from a personal standpoint, I can't give you their information because
Sure, I get it.
privacy and respect. But I bet if you talk to their publicist and you talked about who you were and you may know me, you might. I know you canceled your guest, but if
Yeah.
a celebrity might be interested in your show, man. Unless you ask, you never know.
Having Mick Foley on the show would be so dope, bro. He'd be one of those people I'd get back on I'd get on the show for sure. He would be one of those, like, those guests that I make exceptions for. That would be so dope to have that dude on the show. Just I'd have to go back and look at some old wrestling tape,
Yeah.
and check that out.
Let me ask you this: why not? And I'm just suggesting this to you. Why not give him a shot and ask?
I'm going to, I'm gonna drop your name like it's my job, and I'm gonna ask him on the show. I'm gonna send him an email here in the next couple days, and I'm gonna try and get him on the show. That'd be one guy that I would get on the show for sure, and I would love that conversation. So if it's okay with you, can I drop your name?
Probably just say from a previous podcast or say from Autism Rockwell's Corporation.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I thought you'd be a good fit.
Okay, that's fair enough. I think that would be. I think that's definitely fair enough, and he won't forget your show, so that'll work too.
Yeah.
Question number 5, I believe, is, what have you read that I should read?
I don't read a lot. I'll be honest. I don't read. I'm a big like video game guy and geeky guy. But one book I have read I liked and I still do is Lord of the Flies.
That's a great book. That's a great book. I read that book about 20 years ago. That's an old book.
I read it in 10th grade, and that was the only time I enjoyed reading in class. Let's put it that way.
That's a great book. Question number 6 is, what have you done that I should do?
What have you done that I should not have done? Well, let's see. I mean, definitely. What have you done that you should? Well, definitely hosting podcasts would be one, but you're already doing it. So,
trying to do that.
Be adventurous, I guess, is one thing. Go
do
on
a what?
Be adventurous.
Oh, okay. Well,
in some way, like go on hop out of an airplane, do something insane that you would not have done. I mean, don't be too crazy, but do something that involves heights. Go on a roller coaster or something.
I am scared to death of heights. I worry about me going on, like jumping out of a plane. I think I'll pass out, either shit myself, puke, piss myself. I think I'll lose all bodily fluids if I jump out of a plane. I am scared to death of heights. I don't like, if I stood on my desk right here, my hands are sweating just thinking about it. I don't want to do that, but I understand what you're saying. I think about it.
One maybe.
What's that?
I said, here's another one. If you're not like physically adventure, and if you're not comfortable with that, take on what I call a mental adventure to figure out who you truly are.
That's a great question too. That's a great point. I struggle with that question because I don't know if there's ever a finish line for that. I think it's a journey we can go on, and I think you get better. It's like climbing a mountain, but it's a mountain never ends. It's the infinite pursuit. I don't know if I ever get there, but I think more importantly, what you're saying there too is to actually, if for all the listeners out there around the world, is to actually begin that journey, to actually start going down that road. Because I've been down that road. I wrote a book, and that book, man, just put me on Front Street in a lot of different areas, and allowed me to really identify how, and I say this with all respect, how screwed up I really am. But I came to grips with that I come to grips with how screwed up I really am. And I like that version of me. I like that screwed up version of me. I think it's a good version of me. So I appreciate you saying that, my friend. That opens up, I think, a lot of ideas for a lot of people out there. And my friend Sam, the final question for you is, how can I add value to you?
Add value to me. Well, definitely be a supporter of autism, not really just for me, but for every autistic person out there. Be a supporter of mental health. Know what it's like to maybe not hop. I'm not saying be them because that's opposite what I said earlier, but I guess hop into them sort of for a little
Mm,
while to know who they truly are, to understand what they're going through. I guess be open minded. You know, next time you see a beggar on the streets, don't be like, oh, they should go get a job. I mean, there's argument to it, and I think that sometimes I won't lie, but I also think at the same time you don't know their story.
that's a good point too. I think that a lot too. And it's man, there's just so many areas
I
of
know it's
not,
all circumstantial, and that's the problem.
yeah.
But you also got to think at both sides of the story. You can't be like, well, go get a job. Mm-mm. You gotta look
Yeah.
at you can't though because yada yada yada.
Well, you bring up so many good points there, and there's just so many areas of my life, my mental health, of other people's mental health that I need to work on. And again, if it goes back to being the infinite pursuit that never stops, it has to start. And I think for all the people listening out there, that you've got to start somewhere. You got to start figuring out what's important. What life is so important. It's so fragile, and to learn about other people's existence and other people's struggles is very, very important. So, Sam Mitchell, I appreciate you being on the show. Where can everybody find you, and where can they connect?
You can find me on Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and your favorite media platform. I'm pretty much there. If you think I'm there, I'm there. But if you go to my website, autismrushmills.com, and you click and it's on the homepage, you'll see where I'm at with the icons.
There'll be some links in the bottom of the show notes as well. I would encourage everybody to reach out, find Sam, ask questions. Obviously, you can tell he's very open minded, very open book, and I love having authentic people on the show. He's real, he's true. I mean, he's going to tell you exactly what he thinks and feels. And I think sometimes it's good to have someone like that in your corner when you have questions and you don't know where else to turn. Sam is that person that I think you need to reach out to. So, brother Sam, I appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate you reaching out, my friend. I appreciate you giving me the time, your time, the opportunity to spread your message, and I can't thank you enough. So
Of
thank
course, and
you.
thanks for letting me be on the show. It was great, man.
Hell yeah, brother. I say it in every single episode. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is the positive side.